What's going on, Bird Gang? Philly Carnage here. The time has finally come. It's here. The Madden 22 scouting update deep dive just released probably about 15-20 minutes ago or so. The biggest thing whenever it comes to this that I'm not a fan of is, the rumors are true. It won't be out till mid-October. Compared to what they said about at first, they wanted it coming out mid-September. They were talking about the 23rd, whatnot. But hey, it's coming out in October. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to, push some of our franchises back before we even get started here on the channel. But if you're looking forward to those, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're on the way to 300 subscribers here on the channel. And also make sure you go ahead and you smash that like button. I'll be doing more of the deep dives here every time that they come out, and along with a bunch of other stuff here on the channel. But as we get right into this, we're going to take a look right here as when the scouting arrives, it'll provide a full scouting department, in-depth scouting reports, including player physical traits, physicals, traits, ratings, news content will move players up and down the media big board, impacting their draft stock, and the mock drafts. So they're actually going to go ahead, they're going to bring in mock drafts here to Madden to see, what exactly is going to happen with players as they move up and they move down of the draft board. So that'll definitely be very, very interesting to see. But the one big thing that you got to know, if you've already started out a franchise, you will not have this scouting update once it drops on the game. The biggest thing is you're going to have to choice to start, continue, franchise play with legacy scouting now, which you can keep after the title update, or restart to unlock this new feature. So if you want to continue your franchise, keep doing the scouting that you have been, get rid of all, the main point of having, scouts on your team, having better understandings of some players, you might as well just keep going. Is what it is. Nobody's going to fault you for it. As we get in here for the Madden 22 scouting deep dive, some of the biggest things, they're going to be basing this off the Detroit Lions. So they got more first-round picks. What do they got? Like 3? Something like that. Just because of that big Matt Stafford trade to the Los Angeles Rams, where they ended up getting Jared Goff in return. So, with that, you're going to be able to view national region breakdown services, current draft class, be able to see overall positional strengths, weaknesses of the draft class, as well as per region base bias allows you to plan your approach. You'll be able to hire, fire, or re-sign your scouts to make sure the strengths align with your region that they are scouting. So, you got 5 scouts that you're allowed to use. Multiple people wanted more of the set it and forget it. I don't know how many people are going to do that right away. I'm sure within, franchise 1, franchise 2, a lot of guys are going to want to actually follow along with this entire process. That way they can see how it works, but eventually it's going to get to that point where they just want to set it and forget it. Just kind of looking here at some of the key dates to know from when you start your season. Week 1, final time to reassign, hire, fire scouts. Week 2, you get to assign the region scouts to individual positions. Week 8, assign a national scout to individual positions. Week 11, choose 3 players to focus on, where you'll unlock 30% of a player's profile. And then the free agency stage 3, you'll be able to choose 3 players to host a private workout for, where you'll be able to unlock 40% of a player's profile. Each prospect has key percentage unlock along the way. 1% baseline physical information for prospects, 10% player notes including traits, throw style, etc. all become revealed every 10%. You get one attribute revealed on the skills tab as a letter grade, kind of like it is now, where you only get to see the top 3 of their attributes revealed as you go down through, spend some of your scouting points in the current model that they got. 70% you get player archetype is revealed, and at 100% all the player attributes and true talent range are revealed, which that's going to be very interesting, because you'll actually be able to see everybody, that at least everything per each person that you're there at 100%. All right, we're back. so I had to go get the kid off the school bus. But yeah. So bear with me. I'm trying to remember exactly where I left off. But I mean, we're going to be talking about how they're using the Detroit Lions. They got a pair of first round draft picks from the Rams for that Goff and Matt Stafford trade. So it's going to change up a little bit. Philly could be in the same situation with the whole Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz plays 70% and the Colts make the playoffs, Philly gets their first rounder. If he plays 75%, doesn't make it, they get their first rounder. But if he doesn't do either of them, then it falls back to a second round pick. Is what it is. Kind of we roll with it. So looking here at the regional map, you'll notice strengths and weaknesses of each draft class immediately surface. So right now they're looking for their next franchise quarterback. Cole turned that down. And, they're looking for the next franchise quarterback. It's one of the strengths in this draft class, which is why the entire, nation is that green as they're looking here. And, you assign whatever position that you want and you feel is that number one need for your team. Your top tier scout is the one that you assign to them. That way, all their expertise per se is focused on that one position. And then whenever you go down into the region breakdown, you got the Southeast, Northeast, the Midwest, and the West Coast portion of it. And, as here, they're going for the Southeast region, looking for multiple quarterbacks there. Even though this scout is very strong on safeties, that you're able to, you want to get as much information as possible on that position that you want. So as you get in here, after an 0-2 start, they head into week 3, which is when the mock drafts come into play. So with this, currently they got their guess is, a top 5 pick. And, they're projected to go ahead and grab a cornerback and a left tackle. But, hey, I mean, it's one of those things. Madden brought in that whole, hey, these teams need a quarterback. They need it now. And the Lions, as much as I'm not a fan of Jared Goff, by, Madden sense, they look at it that Jared Goff is a solid quarterback. It's not time to replace him yet, so they're not going to go and throw a mock draft in there. Which, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. It'll change. As clearly the draft pundits believe in Jared Goff after the slow start. And, they got Philly going with Cade Atkins at number 8. So, I mean, as of there, the game doesn't believe in Jalen Hurts as well. But as things progress, which we talk about a little further down, how things go similar to real life as players, rise, good players rise throughout the rankings and the lower tier players start falling, they bring in the stories. But as I was saying, it's one of those things where, in Philly, you got Jalen Hurts. A lot of guys still aren't sold on him. So in the draft, they got, Spencer Rattler going to Philly with one of their couple, first round picks. So, it could change. Jalen Hurts could have a blowout year this year and, absolutely dominate. And, that quarterback position might not be of need for Philly. But what's nice is not only will it show your team whenever you look at players, but it'll also show the other top fits. So, like, in this case, if Philly's looking at a quarterback, or the Lions, we'll stick with the Lions here. So, if the Lions are looking for a quarterback, well, say they didn't go Cade Atkins. Well, their top fits, fall under, following in Big Ben's footsteps, following in Tom Brady's footsteps now down there in Tampa Bay. Or, I mean, I guess we say Heineke for Washington since old Fitzmagic got hurt. But I mean, it's not one of those teams like, you're not fighting against the Packers, the Vikings, or the Bears. So as you can continue in here, like I was saying, the top stories is where you're going to see where people fall and rise. It would have been nice to actually see this, happen in the war room as you're going through the draft, but It's one of those things that, they had to put it somewhere, and why not add to top stories that nobody looks at? So, I mean, just kind of looking in here, by week 11, the competition has, really started to thin out. They got a picture there of Zach Nash. And the nice thing is, whenever you look at the ratings, it gives you, great to elite, good to great, solid, good, all that good stuff. That way you can see exactly where, on some of those different attributes they actually rank. Week 9, let's see, he's the hottest name, considered the third best quarterback in the class. Since we seem destined for the first overall pick, we keyed in on a left tackle cornerback and Cade Atkins. So those are the three that they focused on, and they wanted to get that 100% done. And since the focus scouting is done, Cade Atkins looked an incredibly strong candidate, become the next Detroit Lions franchise quarterback. Top tier arm, accuracy levels to all levels, ability to make pressure. Excuse me. So as you look at this, the nice thing is, as you continue to go throughout the year, it'll also break down. You can compare, like week 17, Atkins really separated himself from the other quarterback to where, Kevin Ruiz wasn't as sharp as they expected throughout the season. So, his numbers began to fall. Like, awareness became an F compared to an A there for Cade Atkins. And, I mean, pretty much however they justify it with the college and all that stuff, like Clemson, has very good accuracy, good arm, but he wasn't asked to lead Clemson in the office that, in the same way that Cade Atkins did to show his awareness guide. So, I don't know how they're going to go and separate that and, really do like a strong situational pool on that. But I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, because you could have somebody that's projected a, first rounder, but they didn't do too hot in the season, so they drop. And then you got somebody that's like a fourth round tier, and their numbers are off the charts. They could play. I'm curious if it's gonna take into account of how the lower conferences is, all that good stuff as well. But at the combine, which is very interesting that they bring this up, because it's going to be really cool to see, pro day compared to combine, because we all know things have changed, especially with, like this year, if they had the full on combine where everybody, like they usually do, a lot of guys opted out, just did their pro days. Penn State, one of them that pretty much everybody ran like a 4.3, and I mean, come combine, they could have been slower. They could have been, that's all unofficial times. So I mean, just kind of explaining this a little more, it talks about a cornerback here out of Utah, Bradley Cherry, best cornerback, ran a 4.34 during his pro day. And then whenever he actually got to the combine, he ran a 4.3. I had to go through and reread that again. It threw me off. But, private workouts, you can go in, again, you got 3 people you can bring in for private workouts. See how well that they're going to mesh. See, you can actually, you can't personally in the game, but, your team can just kind of run them against different schemes, I guess. I have no idea. But, I mean, just kind of going down through here, they get to the draft, and they ended up taking Cade Atkins here from Ole Miss. Big arm, football IQ, accuracy were all more than the first overall selection at a 76. But, I mean, I'm curious to see where they're getting that, because as you look here, the overall is hidden, along with the hidden dev. So I'm sure they did their own little thing, whatever. But Bradley Cherry was still out there. They made the selection, turned out to be a very impressive prospect at a 7.7. Let's see, 95 speed, 94 acceleration. Definitely what you want in a cornerback, especially in this game. The next gen crossers, out routes, absolutely horrible. You want somebody that's going to be able to get off the line and stay with the receiver. And just kind of looking down through here, like it looks like they've I mean, I wouldn't really say that they fix things because, as they showed, Ruiz here, a F for awareness, but somehow he comes out at a 69, which technically isn't bad, especially for a low tier quarterback. But I mean, still, there's not that big of a gap of Cade Mays coming out as a 76 and Ruiz coming out as a 69. Kind of curious to see what exactly happened. Did he come out with a hidden dev? That's just some of the stuff that they don't really explain to us. So, with that, it's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out in franchise. I hope you guys, as well as myself, really do enjoy it because me personally, I like more hands-on. I know it's definitely, when doing these rebuilds, they seem like there's a lot more to do with all the different cutscenes, all that good stuff. Just trying to build your guys. So it seems like it's bringing franchise new and revamped, which it definitely needs because other than that, it's cut and paste from next gen Madden 21, and everybody does not like it at all. So with that, as always, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. I plan on doing more of this throughout every time a big Gridiron Notes drop, as I have a few other ones here on the channel. So yeah, definitely be sure to go check those out, as well as the Face of the Franchise series that I'm currently doing here. The rebuilds, they'll be coming soon. So yeah, like I said, don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. We're on the way to 300 subscribers here on the channel, so everything helps. But until next time, peace.